She Quest podcast is heart-opening dialogues for self-identified women on a She Quest, a movement moving forward, striving to live aware, bold, and whole. Welcome to your second She Quest Summer School podcast guest series. It's me, Estelle, and the second guest, I'm so excited. The second guest show is all about women and body. I had Jessie Harold on for last year's She Quest, since I couldn't think of anybody else to give me their take on Shakti powers. But I knew Jessie could, and she did so wonderfully. Jessie is a mentor, a coach, a doula, a brilliant writer and poet. I feel so kindred to her in so many ways as we both do what we love to call women's work. We lead women's circles and really have the privilege to walk along with you on your awakening journeys. And most recently, I'm just so proud of you, Jessie. Wrote a wonderful memoir called Body Love, and it's made its way into many of your homes, which speaks to her story, which is really all of our stories in connecting/reconnecting with our bodies and the earth. And so I want to just welcome you. I feel so privileged to have you on, Jessie. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. I love that I have a specialty about talking about Shakti power.
Yeah, I was like, who could do this? And like, you're like the first person. I was like, oh yeah, she would do it. And we're always so well spoken. And I think because both of us we're kind of writers as well. I think it hopefully comes a bit more naturally in that way. But because like being on a She Quest for the purpose of this program is really striving to live aware and bold and whole. And I want to start this radio show with the rituals of asking my guest, what makes you feel alive today? So I'm asking you, what makes you feel alive today?
Today, in this very moment. So I live on a beautiful piece of land right on the ocean. And so what makes me feel alive today is just watching my little garden grow. I started a flower farm this year. And so I've been this kind of maniacal plant mother for the last couple of months. But it just gives me so much joy. And just spending time out here with my kids and tending to the land, that just brings me so much joy every day.
Oh, I'm getting shivers because in She Quest, some of the exercise I call gardening exercise, which is just like, it's not like actual gardening, but it's like the metaphor of like seedling and planting and digging up the earth. And so it feels very, it's just very, that you would say that. It's just so fitting, so fitting. So I wanted you on the show, for our first season. I see you as such a leader and an emblem for our body theme. And you really, you stand out to me. And again, we've talked about the Shakti piece, which is a big piece of like beginning our program and She Quest and, feeling supported and somehow like being able to claim, but also like reclaim and reframe this love that we have for our bodies. And if you could, I know we don't have that much time. And I know you wrote a book about it, which will be part of our She Quest book club, which is really, really exciting. But could you tell us like your story, let's say, just almost like elaborate or like help us like the Jessie, like maybe before she wrote the book, or the Jessie on her journey, and like the Jessie now after all, kind of like a lot of awakenings for you and stuff. Do you want to speak to that a little too?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So my relationship with my body has always been a challenging one. Right from the time that I was a small child, I was also a fat child. And I was reminded of that on a regular basis. I kind of felt a lack of belonging in a lot of ways to the world around me because of the size of my body. And as I got into my 20s, I'm kind of making this the most condensed ever version of this relationship that I've had with my body. But in my 20s, I discovered dieting as well as over exercise. And so using exercise and kind of the quote unquote cool things I could do with my body as a way to kind of earn my value or my worth in the world. And so I was kind of, would set out to achieve these tremendously ambitious goals with my body in the hopes that I would start to feel more at home in my own skin. And it wasn't, I guess it was when I birthed my first child, I got to see, an entirely new cool thing that my body could do, which was to birth and nourish a tiny human. But at the same time, my relationship with my body became that much more complex because I didn't have the time or the desire anymore to pursue the same kinds of physical achievements that I had pursued through my 20s that I had really kind of developed an identity around. And when I had my son 4 years ago, I really hit a low when it came to my relationship with my body. And I, at that point, was, had started my business, life coach, a wilderness quest guide. And to have a fraught relationship with my body felt deeply unauthentic to me when I was doing this kind of work of, as you say, awakening and then also guiding other women to awaken to their own power. And yet I was expending a lot of my power counting calories and worrying about how tight my pants were. And so it really felt like I needed to change my perspective about living in my body. And because I'm a writer at heart, I wanted to do this through writing and used the way that I work with women in the world generally is supporting them through massive life changes or life transitions, rites of passage, as I call them. And so I approached my shift in my perspective around my body as a rite of passage. How could I become the kind of person, become a new person who felt more at home in her body, felt as though she were embodied. And so that was the journey that I went on when I wrote Project Body Love. And I have to say, Estelle, and I love that you're working in this way with women. You and I have embodiment as a real key part of our work with women, because I think, and you probably get this too, but in 11 years as a doula and guiding women on wilderness quests and just working with women one-on-one, I see that women in particular hold so much power in our bodies, whether it's the way that we feel our intuition in our guts, the way that we are able, if we choose to birth and nourish the next generation of people, and in the way that Mother Earth is actually represented in our bodies and how our bodies cycle with the earth. There's so many powerful connections that women have to their bodies. And I felt, both for myself and for the women that I work with, that, we've got to stop wasting that power and energy on counting calories and drops of sweat. I think it's time we took it back.
Oh, Jessie, I love talking to you. I get so many, there's like goosebumps all over. The first guest podcast was with Emily, and we just spoke at length about the power piece and, taking this power back, like even when you feel the most helpless and the most that you're like, there's somewheres in your life where you can take it back, you can take it back. And I love, like, so much of what I'm hearing is that, first of all, you inspire the heck out of me. And it's, what I'm hearing is that you gave yourself your own medicine, and
Yes.
and that's what, like, like my work with women has given me, I mean, I could completely weep about it right now, it's given me that same, like they've taught me just so much. And you cannot do this work and not do the work yourself. Like it's just impossible. You know what I mean? And I just love you just put words just so well to that kind of almost, it's more than a mirroring, right? Because it's like there's nothing logical about it either. It's really like that connection, like visceral, like, and we're almost like, do you think like we're afraid of like our power? Like I feel we are part of it, why we dissociate so much. And I mean, I see that in yoga all the time, like the person's in the class, but she's not there, she's not in her body, like completely bypassing the reason why she came to yoga. Like, do you have something to say about that? Like how there's so much trigger. Like for me in Shikwas, most especially, I find the body section to be I'd say the most loaded one of the piece. And, this year I have like 5 components to the class. And it's just, and 2, it's like the body is the gateway. Like the body is this, it's the gateway through everything. Would you want to speak to that a little? Like this, perhaps this fear we have, like through your story?
Yeah, I mean, this is where my kind of raging feminist has to come out and say, I think our culture is afraid of the power of the bodies of women. And we see that in the diet industry. We see that in the medicalization of our perfectly natural bodily processes like menstruation and birth and menopause. We see that throughout the culture, and we've been swimming in the water of that kind of patriarchal perspective on women's bodies, so much so that we can't even see the water we're swimming in anymore, And so, of course, we're afraid of our bodies. Of course, we feel as though they're never good enough. Of course, we feel they're unworthy. And what I think is so important, and what one of the biggest takeaways that's even surprised me as I was writing my book, is the need for self-compassion, to know that we live in a culture that doesn't always love our bodies back, and to recognize that on some days we're just doing our best to keep on keeping on. We don't always feel incredibly powerful in our bodies. And I think the key is to keep showing up, because Estelle, like what you said about it being the key to everything, my body, no matter how it looks, and everyone's body, no matter how it shows up in the world, is the only gateway that we know of to experience the world as it is. It's the only way we have to like touch our children's skin or smell the lilacs in June. It doesn't matter what size we are, but it is the only way we can experience that level of bliss and awareness and presence in the world. And so, we might not love them every day, our bodies, but I think that it behooves us to have some compassion for ourselves and to try to find some respect, some acceptance, and maybe just some presence in our bodies so that we can access that beautiful power we have.
Yeah, and I just love it so much. I really see you as an emblem, like it's so many ways like this, just being gentler and kinder and really living that kind of Shakti wave of support. And I find like with your offering too, what you offer too is really, connected to nature. And like, how much again, that's something we've lost, right? And you can find your body back in nature. I don't think we don't even make that connection, but you do, do you find that? Or
yeah, absolutely. I kind of come from this lens that women's bodies mirror the earth, and the culture's relationship to women's bodies also mirrors the culture's relationship to the earth. And so from that perspective, as an eco-feminist, I kind of look at it and say, we need to be invested both in protecting and respecting our bodies in the same way that we protect and respect the earth, and that we have this beautiful reciprocal relationship with the earth whereby, as women, we get to know ourselves better, for example, by knowing what phase the moon is in. We get to learn our bodies better by being out in the trees and on the water. And it's a place where shape and judgment and ability kind of falls away. And we just become one of the earth's creatures. And I think that it's a beautiful space to become embodied. And I think that women's rewilding, this kind of getting back in touch with our bodies, with our intuition, with the earth, is no less than what will save our world. If anything is going to do it, that is it.
I could talk to you all day. I mean, I think, when women will feel like will be completely in their body, feeling healthy and well, I think nothing can stop. I think that's like the most dangerously like amazing thing that could ever happen, to change the world. I truly believe that. And it's just wonderful to talk to you. I want to know. So I think you're gonna know this, but we at Cheek West, we really we're really on we're on a quest to find tools for that work for us. And as you know, I'm all about art and yoga, and that's really worked well for me. But I really stress in my own program like that, that might not rock your boat. Like it's good to try and this and that, but maybe for you it's something else. Try, tested and true things that work for you. And I was wondering if like I that inspires me so much, and that's why I'm asking my guests that is, do you have like favorite personal tools for self-growth? Like, do you have soul rituals? I think I know you do, but do you like things like tell me your number one thing you do to ground yourself and center yourself and for your piece here, your piece in Chic West and your involvement, really specific to like things you do to really be in your body,
Yeah. I go for a walk every day. That's my kind of, and I include quite a bit of tiny rituals in that process. And so that combination of being out on the earth, moving my body and engaging in ritual, really, really supports me to kind of come home to myself. And also writing, obviously, it's kind of, it's a big thing for me. And I have a daily writing ritual that I engage in, as well as like I'm in a writing group, and so pulling in community with that just beautifully cathartic writing ritual is so important to me. So no, that was not one thing, but those are kind of, those are my keystones, and those are the things that I teach women, to me, I feel like those are just such grounding practices for all women, and that we each kind of have our own way of working with those little medicines, but that's my own particular way.
Amazing. And knowing what you know about your body now, and it's a bit of a loaded question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Like what does it mean for you to be like an embodied woman?
Yeah, embodied, I feel as though my desire for this kind of body love that I thought that I was seeking when I was writing the book really shifted to just being in my body, a desire to be in my body and to respect it, and accept it as often as possible. I find that self-compassion is my biggest practice now, because the reality is that, I may have written a book on body love, but I don't feel body love all the time. And so it's really connecting to like my purpose for my body in a lot of ways. Like, what do I want my body to allow me to experience in this lifetime? And that kind of, it goes right back to those experiences that I love to have out on the earth, in my garden, that's where I feel the most embodied. It's almost as if kind of the edges of me dissolve and I just become a greater part of the world. And it doesn't matter what size I am or what the shape of my body is manifesting. And so that to me it sounds counterintuitive to being embodied, but for me it is, because it's like it takes away the thinking about my body and just allows me to be in my body.
Well, embodied as like the way, it's so beautiful the way you speak, but it's like this merging with everything, which is really what yoga is, like for you, gardening is, a yoga practice, and when you do it, you feel full and you feel free, it's kind of like time is completely, there's no time really. And it was like, I love that. Oh, I love you, Jessie.
I love you too. I wish we could talk about this every day.
I could talk to you so long. Okay, so just for the last part is just really quick answers. Are you ready? So like not just quick, like I'm just firing at you. Okay, you ready?
I think I am.
Wait, are you sure? Are you sure?
So.
Okay, favorite mantra.
Oh shit! No, not that. Not that. Keep that in, Estelle. Don't edit that out. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I have a favorite mantra. I think right now
I go through seasons.
It's
go
true.
ahead.
No, I feel like I have some words. Like wild is a big word for me, and magic.
Oh, love it. Love it. Favorite flower.
Definitely peonies.
Yeah. Favorite book that you've read in the past 6 months?
Belonging by Toko Turner.
Oh, so good. That was my book last summer. You got, and it's actually our Chic West book club in August.
Awesome.
And I think I'll put you in September.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Yoga or running or walking, I should say.
Hiking. Can I say that instead? Yeah, hiking.
Yeah, you can. Book, like hard, like paper book or Kindle?
Oh, book. Definitely book.
Book, yeah. Coffee or wine?
Coffee.
I just want to thank you so much for your presence and accepting to be here and gracing us with just your knowledge. And you're just such a poet. I hope you're such a poet in your words and your writing. And thank you so much for teaching us about the body part. And the last thing, where can my women find you? Like, where can we, if we want to know Jessie, where do we go?
Yeah. So my website is always a good spot, jessieharold.com. And I hang out on Instagram mostly. That's at Jessie, JESSIE.ES.Harold, HARROLD. And people can sign up for my word medicine on either of those two places. And it's just a little, dose of word medicine. There's no better way to put it, that I send out every month. And so that is accessible to people as well. And it's kind of where I hang out.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Namaste, Jessie. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, Estelle.